Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This week I'm going to be doing a topic of coping with boredom. Now, this is going to be pertaining more to the addictions and mental health side of things, but you can definitely apply it to everyday life in most cases. So please stick around and just check out what the whole thing is about. The reason why I do this is when people are in addiction and they're in recovery, they're turning a new leaf, they're getting into something that's basically been unexplored for a number of years. And one of the toughest things for us to do is to find things to do. When you're in addiction, you tend to have, I'm guessing, two-thirds or three-quarters of your day spent either planning, finding, hunting down, revolving around your addiction. So all your time is spent invested in that. Now, when you get out of it, you have all that free time because you're not planning your routine around your addiction. And what that can lead to is you being extremely bored because you haven't been able to do a lot of the things that everyone else is used to, I guess you could say. Now, what can be hardest for us is not knowing what we like or don't like, and then the fear coming in of trying something new or thinking that we might not be good at something that we previously were. I'm telling you today, the best thing to do is overcome that fear and try the things that you either used to do or the things that you wanted to do, but addiction got in the way of. Now, it's not as difficult as it seems. We have a ton of options in every town. And I'm sure every person that's been addicted has said something like, there's nothing to do in this town. Let's just do whatever drug or go out and drink. We'll hit the bars because there's nothing else to do. If you start looking on the internet, looking in the newspapers and the what's on section, looking at the local libraries, checking local post-it boards in the grocery store, you'll likely find out that there's quite a bit to do in almost every single town across Canada, the States, anywhere, wherever you are. And that's the thing I was surprised about. I was actually born and raised in a big city and pretty much been a city boy my entire life. And I moved to smaller cities. I'm talking 15,000 people or less. And then finding out in those places, there's actually a ton of things to do. Some examples were farmers markets. The library, they actually hold book readings. They have seminars. Most cases, they're all free. Almost every town I've been to has some sort of historical walk or signs that you can go check out, find out the history of where you live, where you're from. And those are just a few of the basics. Now, when you're on shift work doing extended periods of time off, you're unemployed, that's where things can become tough because most days you don't want to go out every day, or it might be raining, you get sit inside and you get stuck in front of the TV or stuck in here. And that can lead to bad things because when you get stuck inside your head, you tend to dwell on past events, things that you did to other people, wrongdoings, basically things that were characteristics or behaviors that you learned through addiction, and you tend to beat yourself up for it. And that can lead to depression, anger, sadness, and in most cases that will always lead back to your drug of choice. And I know this from personal experience where you've had a period of sobriety where things were going well because you were occupied. In my case, it was always like during the summer, things were great because there were a lot of activities to do. As soon as the winter came around, wasn't so much to do in my mind anyways. There wasn't a lot to do outside. It's too cold, too much snow, nothing's fun. And that would always lead back to a relapse. Uh, when I actually got into a point where I really wanted my sobriety, I started to find those things that I didn't know I would enjoy. Now, winter, as I said, was a tough time for me. I had nothing that I really enjoyed about it. So I started looking at different activities that I could do. Now, I have some younger family members that I love hanging out with in the winter. We built snowmen, we built forts, we built, last year actually built a luge. So, I mean, there were a lot of other activities that were putting smiles on other people's faces that in turn made me smile and were giving me things to do. The other thing I thought of is I have a prime example from last night. I'm actually on shift work, so I work during the days on the weekends, and then during the week I work nights. So I have a lot of downtime between the hours of either 10 p.m. till 8 in the morning, where there's really not a lot to do because a lot of the town is closed unless you want to go for a cup of coffee. And you have these ideas, and I know everybody has them, where you get an idea in your head and you're like, that would be amazing. But from that point forward, you change it. It would be amazing, but I can't do it. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the means to do it. I don't have the money to do it. You think of a million and one reasons why you can't do it. Now, one thing I was thinking of doing is making videos for a while, much like the ones I'm doing right here, but I had a self-defeating behavior inside me that was telling me I couldn't do it. There was already hundreds of millions of other videos out there on the same topic, and why bother? Well, last night I bothered. I gave myself a shot and I said, you know what? If nobody watches them, doesn't matter. If I have fun while I'm doing it, that's what mattered. I got into some video editing, making introductions, putting music in, learning about the programs and what was involved in the entire process. Ended up spending 4 hours of my time on it and loved every second of it. And those are the things that I'm trying to tell you to try. Those things where you constantly tell yourself that you can't do it for any number of reasons. Most cases it comes down to finances or not being smart enough or having the knowledge to do things. Not necessarily not being smart enough, but not having the knowledge behind what it is you're attempting to do. Like myself, the editing of videos. I've never edited a video. These ones here I do uncut. So I put an intro or a picture in the beginning and then I let it run right to the end. You get to see the entire process. I don't cut anything out. So I've never had to do that, and it was one of the best experiences I've had in a long time where my end product was something I was extremely proud of, and I enjoyed the whole thing. So try to do those things that you think you can't do. And not only that, start making a list right now in this video of different activities you can do. Things that you wouldn't normally do. Going bowling, going skiing, biking, hiking, even just getting out and going for a cup of coffee. Something as a simple location change can be more than enough to just switch your mood. I tend to do that quite a bit actually, where you get stuck inside your house, you're doing all your cleaning, and you go, I'm kind of sick and tired of being in here. I don't want to be here anymore. But at that time, it might be 2 in the morning. You know, can't really go to the mall, can't go talk to anybody, can't call anyone, can't see anyone. What am I gonna do? So I just get outside and I go for a walk, end up at a coffee shop, or even just wandering around aimlessly around town. Depending on where you're from, it may not be the safest thing to do, but you get my idea. And more or less, get out and get outside your head. If you get stuck up here, that's where things can tend to go wrong, because as I said before, you end up getting led down a path that you really can't pull yourself back from, and you won't have anyone else to call to be able to help pull you out of it. And it's one of those things where every day we're used to putting ourselves down or saying that we're not worth whatever effort it is that we're going to have to put into our project. I'm going to tell you that you are worth it. Your sobriety is worth it. Your life is worth it. Everything about you is worth it. And it's about taking those few extra minutes or putting that extra effort into your life to get the rewards that you guys deserve. Because everyone who watches these videos and anyone who's ever been in addiction is not a bad person. We've all learned bad behaviors that have developed us into the characters we became. All you have to do now is take those negative behaviors away. You'll become the awesome person that I know you are, and that your family knows, and your friends know, and your coworkers know. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you, but now it's about rediscovering you again. Finding those things you love, and then putting your time and effort and money all into those things, rather than to the drugs and the alcohol that you're basically filling your time from. Now, if you do have these issues that you're struggling with, where you're not able to work through them on your own, or friends and family can't help you, definitely go see a therapist. You know, I mean, aside from the hour of getting outside the house, it can be extremely lethargic for you to be able to reveal certain information to someone who's impartial, non-judgmental. They're basically going to give you their advice and can help you walk through a lot of issues that might be holding you back, or basically helping to kickstart the entire relapse process. You guys can really do something with this here. The boredom doesn't have to be a bad thing. if you can learn to love yourself and who you are, that's where you don't mind spending a few hours by yourself and enjoying your own company. I don't mind sitting in my own head for a few hours because I enjoy the man that I am today. Before, I couldn't face who I was and I didn't like the things I saw, so I ran to the closest thing that I could find to get my mind off of it, which was drugs and alcohol. When you actually start to appreciate who you are and fall in love with the man or woman that you are, you'll begin to have that process of self-appreciation, and then learning that the time you do spend alone necessarily isn't being alone. You can be lonely and you can be alone, but you could also be comfortable with who you are, and that isn't a bad thing. When you can actually spend that little bit of time by yourself and enjoy who you are, those are the times that you actually rediscover who you are. You find out the things that you do enjoy, and you might even find out some character defects that you might want to work on. I've mentioned it in a few videos before that one of my big ones was judgment, fear of, and as well as judging others. So whenever I'm alone and I'm spending some time by myself, I don't mind talking to myself and working on those little issues. By no means am I perfect. I've got a lot of things that I can work on, but I also know I'm not a bad man because of the things that I'm doing, and it's all a work in progress. Take the time to invest in yourself, do the things that you love, and the boredom will actually stay far away from you. Take the risk that you know that will actually lead to something good. We've all done a ton of risky things in our addiction. Some came close to death. Why not take a chance and go and write a book? Head to the library and take a seminar. There's a ton of things out there for you guys to do. I hope you can find something inside yourself that you really enjoy to do and take pride in it no matter what the result is. Love who you are and you'll have an amazing life. I hope you have an awesome day, guys, and we'll see you next week. Take care.